to jump on. So we have Kayla and Dave. So the official spiel. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and will be broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access Channel, and that this meeting of the Lunenburg Park Commission is being conducted remotely. Accordingly, for those that are participating via video, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you, and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured in the recording. The town of Lunenburg, in response to the COVID-19, is currently following the guidance from the Lunenburg Board of Health, Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and the CDC regarding the virus and steps communities can take to prevent the spread. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, all public meetings are being conducted remotely. The order, which you can find posted on the town website on the COVID-19 Information Center page, can be accessed to the town manager's webpage, and allows for public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of this meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. That said, we are going to have public comment if anybody from the public decides to join us. I just got a message back from Susanna that she's running late, but she will try to log on in a couple of minutes. So Dave, if it's okay with you, we have two items on the agenda tonight. We have a discussion over whether we need to consider changing beach season fees and Board of Health compliance. I'd really like to see what Susanna's thoughts are on the beach season fees. So I'm wondering what you think of jumping to the Board of Health stuff before we tackle the beach fees.
Yep, before you started to ask that question, I was thinking that exact thing, that we take the two agenda items out of order and deal with the Board of Health compliance stuff first, and hopefully Susanna can get on by the time we get done with that.
All right, Kayla, so where are we? What are we looking at for tomorrow, if anything?
Well, we don't have our water sample test back yet, and we do not have our approved application back yet.
Okay.
Kayla, when you went down to the beach with Jim or previous to that time, did you have a conversation as to the scenario where this was going to be so last minute for opening? Did he give any suggestions, or as to, you know, don't worry about it, it'll be done first thing Monday morning, or?
That exact conversation was not had, but when we left it on Thursday, we were down there Thursday morning at 7:30. He tested it and he said, "And now you're opening on Monday, correct?" And I said, "Yes, at 10 o'clock. And he said, "Okay." And it was left at that. I don't know if that meant go ahead and open, even though you don't have your approved application or the water quality back yet, or if he said that, or if that was more so, I'll get the results by then.
Knowing Jim, probably a little bit of both. I sent you a message, I don't know, yesterday or whenever it was, that, you know, we might consider this evening in this discussion about taking a vote to adjust the start or opening time of the beach to the public to Tuesday. I've since had a couple of conversations in regards to the timing of water sampling, and it's suggested, and I wasn't able to reach Jim, I forgot to call him on Friday. It's suggested that if we delay it all, we delay to the afternoon session on Monday, but not go beyond Monday, just to keep the water sampling schedule in place. And as you know, the requirement is that the sample's got to be from 5 days previous to the opening date. If we were to move to Tuesday or Wednesday, it pushes us beyond that 5-day window, and potentially would have to have the water tested again before we open.
So that would mean if he took the water sample on Thursday, wouldn't they have to have it back to us within 5 days if it's only valid for 5 days?
But I'm not sure if they're counting weekends or not.
That's where you get stuck.
Because I don't necessarily know that testing places that they would have it tested at are open on the weekends. So that's what I'm not sure. So I had planned to, regardless of what decisions were made tonight, I had planned to try and give him a call or Kaylin a call, both people that I've been working with for the application and water testing, to see like if anybody had an answer, like at 8:30 on Monday morning.
Okay.
But we still need to have like a plan in place.
You do, and so that's where, so I guess my comment on Dave's comment, Dave, would be that although we can officially, I guess, take a stand on delaying the opening of it, I almost feel though that since it's a Board of Health issue, that they're the one.
Operational.
Yeah, so I sort of feel like it would be the same thing, like if they came in and they tested our water and it came back, it didn't come back in our favor and we had to close down the beach, we wouldn't take a vote on closing down the beach. It's just the Board of Health is preventing it from being open. Yeah, just because I feel like if we take a motion and a vote on delaying the opening of it, and then that doesn't happen, then I feel like we're gonna have to do it again. And I don't wanna keep having to pull emergency meetings to vote on it, on the delay again.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes
I don't disagree with that at all. And the one piece that I did not have is the conversation that Kayla just related to us. And knowing Jim and the way he worded that question, I think short of the lab failing miserably on not getting the test back, I think you'll have the paperwork in hand by 10 o'clock Monday morning.
And Kayla, in your conversations with Jim on Thursday, were there any other concerns that came up that we need to know about in terms of the Board of Health piece?
Nope. He had just said that he had just confirmed that I had sent the opening and closing dates as well as the control plan to Kaylin, which I did. And Kaylin's basically waiting from the okay from the Board of Health to issue the permit. And then he had just, confirmed the hours and that there was a somewhat of a break between the timeframes, and everything else was all set.
And your meetings with the staff at the beach on Friday and I assume today, they would know everything. You feel like they'll have a good enough grasp over all of this to have some success with opening in the next couple of days? Okay.
And I will be there for the opening for the few days to make sure that at opening it all goes smoothly.
Okay. All
Is
right.
all the hardware and software in place to hit the ground running with this tomorrow, or are we still on the edge?
So we actually don't need the software for just doing day passes because after looking at everything, will all still be recorded ahead of time, and the software is used for the recording, but it won't actually need to be utilized at the beach if we're just doing day passes, and would probably create more of a mess in the database if we did try and use it. Because after looking at it, I'm not actually going to issue a physical pass to everyone that gets a day pass. It's just financially not feasible, and it's just not going to be an effective process. So basically a day pass, and we've actually already had registrations for several days on the website. And I print out the morning of the beach. I would print out the roster for that day for both sessions because registration would close at 8 a.m. that morning. And I print out those rosters, and on everything, all the everything, it says that they need to have their confirmation either printed or on their phones. So basically, if for some reason they're not on that list, they'd have their email confirmation. It just, in talking with other rec directors that are doing day passes, it's just not feasible to try and issue a physical pass to every single daily pass person.
And if we move over to a seasons pass, is that going to be easily implemented on this? However you are trying to do it?
Yeah, it's already ready to go. It's just a matter of, there would be a window of, because I don't want cash being done down at the beach with COVID right now. So there would be a time frame of when they can pick up passes, and basically it'd be coordinated with me, but they would still have to buy the passes online.
Okay. All right.
I'm honestly disappointed that we're not going in the route of as a similar system that I forwarded to you a couple weeks ago. That's basically a time card system. Once a card is assigned to a person, just like they're an employee for a company, that is their time card, that is their ID card. That's swiped through the card reader. It tells you when they arrive at the beach. It tells you when they leave the beach. I understand we've been under, a very small window to get this all pulled together, but I truly believe that that's the type of system we need for the day pass system.
And we do have that system available with MyRec. It's just, I'm part-time. It's not feasible
Yep.
for me to issue a card to every single person. So I may only go tomorrow, and then I may not go the rest of the summer, but I've issued a card to somebody. And Karen may only go once halfway through August. And Dave, you may only go once halfway through July, but I'm issuing out these passes that it costs time and money to give these passes, to issue them, to put the numbers in the system so that they can scan. I understand that people will probably go more than once, but just being part-time and everything else, it's just not physically possible for me to do all of that. And I think we'd have to buy a lot more, or I'd have to make a lot more cards than we've already purchased.
But at least requiring them to pre-register, it's gonna at least give us a better idea how many people went in each block versus, we may not know exactly that they checked in at 11:11 and stayed till 11:23, but we would have an idea of when, at least a better idea of the numbers.
So we will, crossing our fingers that the staff follows it, we will know when they come, because when they come, the staff, as they're checking off on the sheet that they've actually come, they are supposed to be there. I've created the sheet. There's a slot that they're supposed to be writing the time that they got there.
Okay. All right.
Let's keep it in mind for next year that, for around $1,000, and maybe the MyRec system can be set up just as easily if we have the time to do it. But I think the electronic data collection is the only accurate data we're ever going to get from beach participation. But
And MyRec
what
is
we
set
can
up like that. It's just, again, it would have to be, we'd have to issue the day passes the same way as season passes would be. And that wouldn't be able, because we are so under the gun, that just isn't possible. It would have to be, again, set windows. I can assign a card to everybody that signs up, but you'd have to sign up for all of those days ahead of time, unless we're going to place all that responsibility on the staff down at the beach to assign a number, put the number in the system, and then people can just scan in and scan out whenever they want. It's just a matter of if we're going to entrust the staff down at the beach to handle all of that.
Okay. Well, we can, since we're not going to get it done this year anyway, it's, what you have in place is better than what we've had in the past. So that's definitely a good start, and we can figure out how we can maybe make some better changes next year. And and again, these numbers, the numbers that come in from how many people pre-registered, they should be pretty telling to know if that's an expense we should be jumping through anyway. So we can figure that out. Hi, Susanna.
Hi.
Can you hear us? Maybe.
She is there. She is.
Hi.
Hi,
Sorry,
Susanna.
guys. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. So we actually took the agenda out of order and we just sort of talked through, like, Kayla's been down at the beach. Everything in a nutshell is that we don't have approval to open tomorrow morning yet. They're waiting on the water sample and the application to open the beach to come back from the Board of Health, and they can't get that until the water sample is back. So we're at the mercy of basically the Board of Health right now. So as soon as that comes back, Kayla will get everything up and running.
What's the timeline look like for that?
I'm hoping that if I call tomorrow morning at 8:30, they have answers for me
Okay,
and I can easily print out the approved application by 9 o'clock.
good, okay.
And you have Kayla, you have a plan in place if you don't get that tomorrow. You said that there were already some registrations coming through for tomorrow.
Not for tomorrow. I did not, in anticipation of what was going to happen tonight, the registration for tomorrow is not open yet.
Okay. All right, so let's go back up in the agenda and let's talk about beach fees. And it was sort of ironic that you sent that email, because then an email had come to just me that I had basically copied and pasted a response you had to another similar question from a resident. And she quickly got back to me and it was like, no season passes? What's going on? This is, the cost to go there would be prohibitive. So I'm sure you're getting more feedback. So tell us what you've been getting for feedback on that front and what you're now thinking.
So after everybody got word that the beach was scheduled to open tomorrow, a lot of people have been calling and emailing. A handful have been seniors, and the other handful have been families, and just asking how they can purchase passes and what the cost is and everything. And I've explained that there are no season passes, it's just daily passes, to which I've gotten the response back of, well, I don't think I'll be able to go to the beach then because it's cost prohibitive. If I have a family of 4 and I am registering for a time slot for all 4 of them, for even if we choose to go 4 times out of the summer, that's the cost of a season pass. And that's only allowing me 4 4-hour time slots. Whereas if they bought a season pass, it's 4 4-hour time slots that it's basically equaling. So just listening to all of them and kind of looking at the numbers and kind of trying to figure out the best possible solutions for everybody, which is not always the easiest, and you're never going to be able to please everybody, and I fully realize that, but trying to help as many people as I can, where this is an asset that many people that have reached out to me are looking forward to, given that they've been in quarantine for 3 months. So I would hate to have people deterred by just a daily option, because many of them seem to think that the season pass, although it's just for a 4-hour time slot, if they wanted to, quite frankly, they could register with a season pass. They could quite frankly register for a morning session and an afternoon session, go home in between to have lunch, and then come back. And you're not paying an additional fee, whereas with the daily pass, they'd have to pay a fee both times. The season pass, is how some of them have explained, allows more flexibility. Even though there's still pre-registration required, they've already essentially paid for it. So if they sign up for a slot and something happens and they don't go, it's okay, because they'd make up for it elsewhere in the summer, is just some of the feedback that I've been hearing.
So my concern the last time we met was that if we had to close for any reason, whether it be because of Board of Health, whether it be something our employees aren't following the rules and whatever, I guess that was my concern then, that we're now going to have these passes sold.
Yep.
And we're going to have people looking for a refund. That, I guess now that I'm going to add to my concern, in that is, it's hard to predict what the season's going to look like. If I go off old numbers, I don't think we're going to hit capacity. But I guess my concern would be that if we sold 100 family passes and everybody's trying to go and they're booking full day slots, that people aren't going to get in, and now they're going to have bought a season's pass. And you're right, there's no win on either side of it.
Can we just have some kind of language in the purchasing part that says, something buyer beware, about limited space on the beach and limited knowledge of what the future holds in terms of COVID and Board of Health? And I mean, it's a gamble to buy a season pass, perhaps, but it's a gamble that some people want to have the option, right?
Yeah.
No, sorry, go ahead, Kayla.
And I think we can put, I mean, I think the language of, buying a season pass doesn't guarantee you a certain time slot on a certain day,
Right.
would be important to put in. But, in thinking of the season passes, in everybody's response, I did have some of the same concerns as Karen. What if we do see another spike before the end of the summer and we have to close because they revert back to, a few phases back? What would we do in that instance? Would everybody be prorated a refund and those types of things? And I think that it would have to be the same type of thing, unfortunately, season passes are non-refundable just because of the uncertain times. And with the option of a day pass and a season pass, it would really be up to the buyer if they wanted to just do a season pass versus a daily pass. And knowing that both are non-refundable, do you want to just lose $16 for a day, or do you want to lose $65 for whatever remainder of the season that you had left on it? So I think, with the idea of season passes, it would have to be in all the language that they're non-refundable and it doesn't guarantee you a spot on any given day.
Right.
So what would you be recommending for a fee structure?
I think I would keep it the same as it has been in years past. I wouldn't go up on a price or anything.
So we'd still have the 65, I think it's $65 for a family pass.
Yep.
And that would be for 2 adults in the same household?
Yes.
Okay, so 2 adults in the same household and 3 children or 2 children?
I think it was 3 children, but I mean, we can change it to 2 or.
Nope. And then
it
what do you
says,
do if they have more? What
it says
happens if-
any additional person under the same roof. So some people might have an in-law that has grandma and grandpa living there. They would have to pay an additional $5 for each of them to be added onto that pass, but it's only the same household. You can't add your best friend Sally to your household.
How are we gonna patrol that?
I mean, it's really, if they choose to put them under their address, I can't, and I don't think any of us can go in and say, well, Sally doesn't actually live with you, type of thing. I mean, I've never, to my knowledge, had over abuse of that, but I don't know how things have been in the past, so.
Last year.
That was the basis of my discussion when we set this policy not to have the season passes. There has been abuse in the past, and this would have eliminated that issue completely, at least for this season. I did attempt to suggest that we adjust the half-day pass rates to help make up for the fact that we weren't doing season passes, and I'm still of that mind. It's a 3-member board, so I may be overruled, but I still feel that if we do anything, we adjust down the half-day pass rate, and we do not offer a season pass. That's my stand right at the moment.
So I'm just, so people don't think that I'm losing my mind, I'm flipping through last year's registrations, and I have one where there's 7 people registered, including somebody that doesn't live at their house. I have another one where they registered the mom, 2 adult babysitters, and then 4 children. And last year I had conversations with some of these people over this because I was handwriting out the passes last year, and it just put up huge red flags. And they sort of went with well, this is just the way we did it because nobody said that we couldn't, or because the system said that we couldn't. So that's, I guess, and if my memory serves me correctly, it was either 8 or 10 passes last year that had some form of abuse, and some of it was pretty significant, with large numbers of people registered on their passes. That just made absolutely no sense if they did that. What are you thinking, Susanna?
I think, what if we did like a cap of 4 adults? And their kids. That way we can't end up with grandma and the babysitter and auntie and the neighbor and.
I would also, I'd have to double check with Myrek, but I believe I can put like well, I know I can put a residency requirement where they'd have to provide proof of residency before they can sign up for the pass. But I believe I can also limit it on the pass itself so that, you know, I limit it to say that it's 2 adults and 3 kids, and then they'd have to contact me to add the extras.
That sounds good. I think
That's,
it's reasonable.
so, and you're thinking a season's pass with those limitations is what you'd be leaning towards, Susanna?
Yeah, I mean, it's my only concern about it was that people would be upset if for some reason the Board of Health shut up the beach down or there was another whatever surge of the COVID or whatever and the state shut us down. You know, I don't want to be in a place where we have to be refunding passes and.
Kayla, let me ask you this question. Is there, I don't know the Myrek software, is there a way to have, if we stayed with a day pass, is there a way to do it so that once they hit $65, it basically, there's no additional fee to go the rest of the year?
Well, that's good.
That's a great question. I'd have to check with Myrek because I've never used a feature like that. So that's, yeah, I've never used a feature like that, so I don't know.
I'm torn because I can see both sides. Dave, if we stayed with a daily fee, you'd be wanting to see it drop down in price a little?
Yes.
And what were you thinking price-wise?
Refresh my memory on where it is right now, please.
$5 and $3?
And free under 3?
Two and under, Kayla, or under 2?
2 and under.
2
2
and
and
under.
under. Okay. So basically under 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Why don't we do all of that? Why don't we, maybe we put it in the hands of the pass holder to retain their own records for how many times they went, and they can submit it to Kayla to say they hit $65, you know?
and
The
then
whole point of this system was to collect our own data, so we've got accurate data. My proposal would be $3 and $2.
so let me run some numbers by you, Dave, and see if you still agree. So we're capped at 30 people. So let's go with 10 adults. So we'd be bringing in $30 for those 10 adults. And on the kids, if we had 20 kids, we're bringing in $40 for those kids. Kayla, are we still looking at 3 lifeguards on duty at a time?
Yes, but the cap is 70 now.
Oh, you raised it?
Yeah, sorry.
Thanks a lot.
I thought I mentioned it at the end of the last one that I'd up the cap to 70. Sorry.
I wasn't 100% sure where we left that. I was going to ask that question, but I figured it would come out at some point.
Yeah,
Because
no,
I thought
70.
30 was really, really low.
70. So chances of getting 70 are slim, but we'll use that math anyway. So if we had 70 people, say 25 of them were adults, that's $75 we brought in. And then 50 of them were kids, so that's $100. So we would have brought in $175, and with 3 lifeguards on, times.
That's per session?
Per session. Yeah, no, that number makes sense, Dave. Your number makes sense if we hit the cap of 70. It didn't make sense if we capped at 30, but again, I don't know what we're gonna get.
I'm willing to take that chance of operating in a deficit through the season
We always operate.
more than I am dealing with the season pass situation.
People aren't helping me. Stop putting good ideas on the table. All right, so we have two feelings right now. Keeping the season, do the season fee, making it non-refundable regardless of what happens, or doing the day fee and lowering it to $3 and $2. So that would be $6. So that would cost each family $10. If they were bringing 2 adults and 2 kids, it would be $10 a day versus $16 a day.
But can't we do both? Or are you trying to avoid doing the?
And at some point you lose the incentive of doing a season's pass.
Right.
And I feel
You're
like,
there all the time.
say that
Right.
again, Susanna?
I said unless you're there all the time, every
Right.
day, which might be something like.
I honestly think we're overthinking this.
Yeah, so it's me. Of course I overthink. It's all I do in life.
Well, I'm ready to make a motion that we adjust the half-day pass rates to $5 per, $3 per adult, down from $5, and $2 per child, from $3 down to $2, and only offer half-day passes.
With no option to do a season pass at all.
That's correct.
I gotta shut my brain off. I am overthinking it, Dave.
Kayla, how do you think that answer would fly with the people you've been emailing with?
I mean, I think I'll still have a similar reaction just because I feel like, and I don't know, I feel like they wanted to purchase a season, but again, I don't know. And I don't know if the majority of people aren't even going to purchase a season pass because there's no swim lessons.
Right.
I really don't know. I just know that a lot of the feedback has been for season passes. But I mean, I think lowering the prices would be, some of those people would be okay with just lowering the prices.
Dave, what's your problem with the season pass?
I've seen it problematic right from the start. We had this discussion when we set the rates at the last meeting and chose not to go with the season passes. There's enough to do with what we're required to do to stay open, just to stay open at this point, and having to spend more time trying to sort out who is registered, who is not registered, who's got a season pass, who's got a day pass.
Okay.
As I describe it at my job, we need to dumb it down. And dumbing it down means we do one type of pass at the lower rates and call it a season.
Okay.
We're not going to make everybody happy.
Yeah. No,
and-
I'll
and
second
no
that.
matter what, no matter which way you go.
I'll second that.
Madam Chair, one point of interest.
You just call
we
me
need a-
Madam Chair.
Yeah, I did. We need a second for that motion if we're going to continue to
I just
debate it.
seconded it.
She just seconded it.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. I'm not formal, so I think that it just makes me laugh. Is there any further discussion on that before we put it to a vote?
I mean, we should anticipate some pushback, but here we go.
I'm okay with the pushback, and this again solves my concern of the past last year, looking at all these people. And I apologize. I think I said I'd forward it and I never did. Looking at all of those that registered last year and seeing some of the abuse, it just concerns me. And I don't want that to ruin it for everybody, but I also feel like we need to sort of get a grip on it. And this would definitely help that. So
I like the idea of keeping it simple this year too.
I do as well. All right, so let's take it to a roll call vote. Dave?
Aye.
Susanna?
Aye.
And an aye from myself. All right, so we are bringing the season fees down to try to accommodate some of the concerns that we have to $3 for adults and $2 for adults and seniors. Kayla, can you do me a favor if you haven't already talked to Sue Doherty? or to anybody over the senior center. Last year when we did this, I literally provided them with a step-by-step instruction sheet. Can you either just some in your crazy graphic ways that you know how to do that I don't know how to do, can you do something to send over to them that they can send out to their seniors to say this is how you get a pass this year? And if it's tricky to register, can you literally walk them through step by step?
Yep.
Okay. All right, awesome. I think that's it for us tonight. That was a nice 36-minute meeting. Does anybody, so I do have public and board comment. I can only see Jared. Jared, if you want to have, you're saying anything, feel free to chime in. Or is there any board comment?
I've got one if there's no one else.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, as I've stated at the last couple of public meetings, I've been attending during public comment at the end. This is related directly to our commission because we're still waiting for the charter to move through the House of Representatives and be finalized so that we can start working towards moving this commission from a 3-member commission to a 5-member commission. So after doing some quick research through the journal that is posted for actions by the Senate and House of Representatives on a daily basis, our charter is presently sitting in a Senate Bill S-2754. It cleared the Senate on June 9th in a very short hearing with 3 readings, all done in 1 hearing, and then referred to the House of Representatives. Since June 11th, the charter has been sitting, waiting for action in a steering and scheduling committee for the House of Representatives. I've been in contact with Representative Hay. I also posted on social media over this weekend the information that I just shared with you, and actually a screenshot of the action taken by the Senate, and asked citizens to please contact the representatives and ask them why this isn't moving forward. Other cities and towns in Massachusetts have had home rule petitions brought before them in the past number of months, and I'm talking 2 to 3 months, and they've been pushed through, approved, and in force within weeks. This charter has been sitting, waiting for approval since the Springtown meeting a year ago, May, and still is not in force. I believe it's imperative or very beneficial, at least to this commission, to be able to move to a 5-member commission. And even if the charter does clear its hurdles with the in Boston, there's still a couple more hoops to jump through before it's legal. And then it's not clear as to whether we need to wait for the spring elections to fill those additional seats or not. So we need to ask the citizens to help us move this forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything from you, Susanna?
Nope, I'm all set.
I will take a motion to adjourn at 6:39.
So move.
Second.
Second by Susanna. All in favor, roll call. Susanna?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
And an aye from myself. We are done at 6:39. Thanks. Thanks, everybody. Kayla, yell if you need help down there.
Karen, do we still have a meeting on
Real-
the,
Yep, on the
23rd.
23rd. Yep,
yeah, okay, great. Thank you.
good.
Bye.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you.